2, 1, and you're live.
Hello everyone, welcome
Hello.
to the next run. I'm here with Emoji. I'm PS Enough. I'm be doing some commentary. Emoji is gonna run the E row of N++. Ready to start? And do you want to do the
Yep.
countdown? Okay.
All
so,
right. Three,
go for it.
2, 1, go.
So, N++, precision platformer, kind of like Meat Boy and Celeste, which is a little more famous than N++, but N++ actually has a very long history. It was originally a Flash game back in early 2000s, and then it became a little more famous in 2015 when they did sort of a reboot, released it on PlayStation, and it's also on Xbox and also on PC, and Linux and Mac. All those more normal platforms that you can use besides the console stuff. So I'm just running on PC right now. And yes, it's a special category, the E roll. There are a lot of levels on N. It's all a single screen. You have to get the switch and you have to exit. Sounds pretty straightforward. And then there are a few enemies and entities to make your life a little more terrible, a living hell, sort of. So yeah. What more can I say about this? M's PB on this particular category is around 36 minutes. Correct me if I'm wrong.
So 35:54 now.
35:54. Okay, way above. So yeah, we estimate it should be around 38 minutes the run, but let's see how things go, how little she screws up here. The first levels are typically easier than the later levels on the run. It's divided by rows, and each episode has 5 levels. So we're currently on episode number 2. So these levels are slightly easier. They will get increasingly hard as we progress. So since I don't have that much thing to talk about while we are on this earlier episodes that are relatively easy, I'm going to read you the lore of the game because it does have a story background. This isn't just jumping around. So here it goes. Story of the game. You are a ninja, full stop. Your godlike speed, dexterity, jumping power, and reflexes are all the result of an amazingly fast metabolism. Tragically, so is your natural lifetime of 1.5 minutes. Like all ninjas, you have an unquenchable thirst for gold, a natural propensity for exploring rooms infested by increasingly lethal ninja-killing robots, and a devout belief in N. N, the way of the ninja, is a highly advanced system of spiritual, cognitive, and physical training. It emphasizes pacifism, humility, and the need to traverse a series of 5 rooms before the end of your lifetime. The feat known only as beating an episode, which is what M is trying to do. So there are a lot of levels on N, and the more stuff you do, the more you unlock. You can do the levels or the episodes by row or by column. And the further you get to the bottom right of the tab, the harder the levels become. I'll try to talk of a few gimmicks and a few entities that show up as M progresses. So the whole game is a bit fixed on single screen, but the precision is very high. So the amount of time you hold the jump button really matters. The momentum that you're going really matters. You don't have fancy double jumps or dashes like a lot of precision platformers have these days. But you do have to pay a lot of extra attention to your vertical and horizontal momentum. That's a rocket that's trying to hit you, and that's a slope jump that you need to do in certain slopes to reach places where mines would typically kill you. Those little things following are the most horrible enemy ever designed by MetaNet, the creators of the level. They are called evil ninjas, and they basically just follow your path with, I believe, 2 seconds difference from you. So they can be quite annoying, especially if there are a lot of them, like in this level. But somehow M has managed to devise a proper path that doesn't let her slow down. These levels, we call them drone terror levels, because there are a lot of drones going in a lot of places, and you kind of start trembling when you start seeing them and start trying to figure out the path. Luckily, Hem has practiced this so much that she doesn't really have a problem with these drone terror levels. At least I hope not, if she wants to do anything close to the PV. So yeah, if you guys have any questions on the chat, feel free to mention. Oh, someone's saying that the timer didn't get started. That's not good.
I'm sorry.
Whoops.
Ooh, that was almost bad.
Don't die when you're trying to start the timer.
I don't know how to troubleshoot it because I.
Is it the global splits timer? Because if global splits, it might be easier to just restart now while we still have not that much time in.
You want me to restart the run entirely?
I'm asking.
I can like go back and see how long ago you started, and then start a timer on my end. So
Okay.
like be approximate. It might take a bit to start, but I think that should be fine.
Okay, that sounds good.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I
you're
should
good.
have tested this first.
No, you fire them. We don't want to play. We don't want to see you play anymore. So the particular thing about N++ is that it can get really complicated really fast, and you need to do very precision jumps. The wall jump is also a very important thing that you need to do, and you saw it here a couple of times. So if you gain enough vertical momentum, you can keep jumping off the wall and get more vertical momentum. But you need to have the right timings for that, which can be tricky. There are also some lasers. You can see one there. If you touch them, you guessed it, you die. Horrible zapping death. Okay, that was fine. So yeah, going up on slopes can also be a bit tricky. You need to get fast enough momentum to do it properly. So all sorts of different kind of mechanics that goes on into this. The music that you're listening also is worth mentioning. It was licensed specifically for N++ developers. Instead of like getting like a video game musician to do custom music for the thing, they actually went for music that they were listening while developing the game, and they decided to try to license that music instead of getting new music. It might be a little low. You might have trouble hearing it. It's lower than the sound effects at least, but it's there. I'm going to be quiet for a little second so you can hear it better. But it's there. There are a lot of tracks in it, at least. So yeah. So that was also a nice thing to have. And the game overall is kind of frustrating. It's not the best thing for military veterans to play, I would assume. But it's kind of zen when you get to the proper sense of the path that you should be taking, and you manage to execute it properly. That can feel very rewarding. But for figuring out the path, it can be quite frustrating. It's also a bit of a puzzle kind of game. You have to figure out the best strategy to do things. This is a very interesting strat. Normally you fall when you jump this high, but since she hugged the wall falling down, she doesn't die. Extra point. Or less time wasted. So yeah, there are also those bounce pads, which you can use to boost yourself up, and sometimes you need to avoid them, to avoid splatting up against the wall. Physics, try to be as realistic as possible. So if you're going really, really fast and you hit something like a ceiling or a wall, you kind of die, splatted against that. Not just going down, falling into the ground, but also going up. So there are a few levels where you might either chimney too fast or catch a launch pad and just splat against the ceiling, which can be a bit annoying. And for those who don't know what chimneying is, it's this thing that she just did right now, going up a chimney by wall jumping a lot. Evil ninjas are evil. She managed to clear this one. Onwards to episode 06. This one has an interesting gimmick as well. Usually you're supposed to keep going at this part, but I've just decided to double back because it's faster. And this is a speed run after all. This is trying to be a realistic ninja explodes violently. Yeah, that's what happens. You throw a ninja to a mine and he tends to explode. It also has very interesting particle effects when your ninja explodes. It has a lot of things going on. Some computers even slow down a lot when you explode. You try to do some remote co-play and you have to turn off particles and blood and that kind of stuff, because if one person dies, the other person can't play the game because it's extra bandwidth going forward. These little things are called thwomps, and they thwomp to a side. And they're actually nice. I kind of like them. They're a different kind of entity. Friendlier than most. There are some levels where you have to turn on some switches to liberate some things. In this case, you sometimes can liberate those lasers and make your life even more miserable than it already is, for extra staying power. It's none of those levels that you have to kind of memorize the timing of the drones, which M did pretty well. Oof, another very weird level. This took me quite a while to do the first time around. A bit annoying to path, weird locations of stuff. Lasers here. She managed to clear it. Onwards to the exit. Let's see, what else can I say about N++ that I haven't mentioned already? It was originally released on Flash. I think I mentioned that already.
Yes.
And it got popularized by being on the PlayStation. I think it was 2015. It was so short of a game in terms of size that it fitted the in-game memory, so it became a bit popular on the PlayStation Network. And it wasn't actually sold in physical copies that much. It was more distributed to PSN. And that's what kind of popularized it. It's a great party game as well. You can do races in it, you can do co-op in it, so it's a great couch game to have and lose some friends with. Lose some friends in the sense that they will hate you for killing them or beating them. So yeah, another interesting level here. A couple of jumps. And that thing that tries to follow you and aim at you is called a ghost turret. Some people, like M here, claims that they are one of the scariest things in the level. I would argue that evil ninjas are way more scarier, but that's me. And these things on the floor are called floor guards, and they guard the floor. Amazing. This level also has a very nice skip. You don't have to do the whole level, just need to do the right side. And there's going to be some interesting shenanigans here with the laser and the death ball. He's pursuing M at this point. Just jump in between them. Follow the path. And you're done. I think about halfway done, maybe a little less than halfway. This level can be quite unnerving, especially when you don't have the path figured out yet, because you release those mini drones up there and you don't see them. So how the hell are you supposed to know when you're supposed to go? So it can be quite annoying to figure out, especially if you want to catch all the gold and you know, you're a ninja, you're supposed to catch all the gold. Not for speedruns though. For speedruns, we only catch as much gold as we have to stay alive. Also, being played on episode mode, the more gold you catch, the more time you get on the time bar up there, which can come into play if you're slow enough on your first runs. Em is speed running, so she doesn't have that much issue. She's clearing the levels as fast as possible, or trying to at least. But a lot of people sometimes run into problems with time, especially on later levels. This level can be quite a pain to get. Oof, nice path there. Okay. And practice this one a lot. She has it down. Well done. This was really annoying to do the first time, especially coming back down, because going back up, gravity is kind of working on your favor, and going back down, it works against you because you're going faster, so it's a lot harder to dodge the drones, and then you try to jump to avoid them, but when you jump, you go slightly up, so it's even worse. So that can be a real nightmare of a level to clear out. These ones are luckily a little easier. Some mini drones there to annoy you, and a rocket. Oof, this one. Evil lasers from hell. Let's jump between the mines there. Oof! Almost got sniped. Well done. This one's also quite annoying to do. Also one of those levels that the first time you try to clear it, you spend a lot of time with. Oh, yeah. Messed up. One of the things on speedruns of End that you should do is try to die earlier as possible, because it's a lot better if you die earlier in the level. I'm not saying that as a recommendation, End. It's a lot better, or you lose a lot less time than if you lose later in the level. So levels that are extremely long, and this one is a bit of an example of that. It's not that long, but it's a little bit. You start feeling it when you're speed running it, that I really can't mess up now, and that just makes you messed up even worse, even though it's like a very simple jump to start doing some weird dances in midair and end up screwing things up. But Em is a trained professional. She practiced long and hard. She knows the path. She will stick to the path, and everything will be good. Alright, just to do that drop. And that drop wasn't easy to do, that final diagonal drop, because those were real mines, not trigger mines. They can blow you up. This one sounds easy enough, or looks easy enough, on the way to the exit. But that final corner jump is the one that got me a lot of times. You need to get the right timing for it so you enter the drone cycle properly. And if you missed it, oof, it's a lot of time wasted. So let's hope Anne manages to do it. Yeah, perfect. Trained professional, as I told you. We don't have that many speedrunners on N++ community. We have a few people that are very high skilled, and they sometimes do a few of the rows. M is one of the most prolific or recurring speedrunners that we have active right now. And she specializes on the E row, which is kind of weird of a row to specialize on, because it's harder than most of the other rows, but she kind of likes that. So, you know, weirder things to be addicted to than speedrunning E row. This level has 2 death balls, double the excitement, triple the threat. Death balls are also notoriously annoying annoying entity on N++. They just chase you, but since they depend on your movements and your movements alone, every time you play them, it's slightly different, because your ninja always does like slightly different frame-specific things, and they're very frame-based, so they're the most chaotic entity actually on N++. Oof. Close call there. Well done. And then they insist on placing the switches on the weirdest places possible, like on the other side of the map, just to make you waste more time. Alright. Need a perp jump here. Call it a perp jump when you try to do a slope, but you jump perpendicular to the floor, which is a lot harder to pull off than you would think. if you think of normal physics, you would think, I just jump up. That's easy enough. But on N, if you go a little bit too fast or a little bit too slow, you go either forward or you jump back. Like if you let go of the direction key right before you jump, you can go backwards from the slope direction, which can be what you want to do, can also be not what you want to do. And in those specific levels, you wanted to jump exactly vertical or you die a horrible death. So yeah, kind of annoying to pull off sometimes. Oof, missed the cycle there.
Yeah.
Missed another cycle there. We're good. Couple seconds lost. Could be worse.
At least I didn't die.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen worse things happen to a ninja than losing 2 cycles. These little entities, oof. These little entities that fall from the sky are also quite interesting. There are a few levels where they are going horizontally, and you actually have to catch a ride with them, which is kind of interesting mechanic for the game. Oof. Just got caught by a drone there. Another level cleared. This one has some tight corners in it as well, or tight moments. Especially with that ball down there. It's kind of easy when you get used to it, but I never quite did. Okay, should be in the clear. No rockets today, thank you. Onwards to the next episode. Need to be careful with the laser. This one. Done. This one. It's just long, not particularly hard. If anyone has any questions on the chat, by all means, feel free to speak them out or forever be silent. Kind of running out of things to say about N itself. This level is also pretty nice. You rarely get hit by the death ball here, or so I heard some people say. I do recall myself getting killed by the death ball, so I wouldn't totally agree with that.
I'm pretty sure I died to every enemy in this category at some point or another.
That's what practice does. There's a little bit of a skip here that she's gonna do if she didn't die, because there is no glitches on N++. Well, there are some glitches and some bugs on the game itself, but not glitches that like make you skip entire sections. This is a few of them. You do a little bit of a skip by doing a perp jump there and getting the switch instead of going all the way up. So a few of the shortcuts that there are. Avoid interacting with floor guards. They feel so lonely up there. And if you pay attention to the bottom floor guards, there's some hidden gold behind them, which some people fell for and like try to all gold the level and not get the gold behind those floor guards. Easy level. Usually the first levels of the episode are easy, and then they started to ramp up on difficulty. There's a very specific path on this one. Getting all the switches before the evil ninjas catch up to you. Seems to be fine. Yep. And don't die to the mines. So it can be a little bit annoying to fall down that chute, especially if you have the wrong timing. The drone doesn't agree with your falling. Another interesting mechanic on this one, the laser cycles. Skip a few of them, not all of them, and that last jump, have to hang in midair during a cycle, can also be quite weird. Another characteristic of these levels that sometimes one direction can be different from going on the other direction, so in this particular level they'll make you go back and forth a couple of times just to annoy you. And the rockets, the rockets work differently, or the mechanic to dodge the rockets is kind of different from going up, from going down, so you also need to pay attention to that. That sort of gets into the way that you path the fastest way to clear the level. I get a rocket from the bottom, which is another different kind of way to dodge it. Just trying to catch you off guard, pretty much. There we go. And done. Next episode. Oh, this one. Gotta be fast, but not badly fast. Yeah, that was an example of what you're not supposed to do. Still pretty good on time. It's normal that we have a couple of deaths here and there. As M so gently showcases. Oy. Okay, that's enough. Thank you. Level with mini drones and bigger drones. Fun for the whole family. And rockets, because we can. A little bit of a back and forth. Ooh, that was a nasty death. Okay. What else can I say? There are also some user level editor for N++. We have a rather large community, well, not insanely large, but somewhat active community of people doing maps for the game. So if you ever get bored of the thousands of maps there that MetaNet provided you with, you can also just make your own. Do some weird shenanigans and test new mechanics and stuff like that, which is always very interesting to do. Or remix some of these levels as well. This is another example of levels where you can't follow the same paths twice because of trigger mines. Another mechanic that we have. Yeah, those ghost turrets following you. Oof, touch the switch. Let's go. Can also be a little bit annoying to all gold if you're not careful with your path. And we're done. Another drone terror level. I totally hate these levels. These are so hard to clear. And to figure out the path, you lose so many attempts just repeating yourself flawlessly at high speed and still running into a drone. Okay, she's got it. Yeah, this corner in particular, I remember struggling so much with this one. Ugh. Magic. Magic. Okay, onwards. E15. Easier level. Gold. Try to bring some balance to the episode, have like a few easier levels, and then leave the hard ones either for like number 2 or number 4 in the level count. And they are 5 levels, but they start being counted as 0 and going up to 4 because computer scientists, everybody knows that the first element on a stack is number 0, is on index 0. A long level, a few lasers and stuff, but it's not really hard. There we go. Switch. I'll jump your way back down. This is a lot harder when you're a noob. Just getting those aerials right can be so annoyingly hard. Like if you hold the jump button for a couple more frames than you should, and you're already overshooting. Then you have to try to compensate, and suddenly you're stopping in mid-air. This is a very interesting game level as well. We'll sort of a race around the map. Your fellow evil ninjas going around you. Just walk your way home. Next episode, this one. This is one of those that you have to use the thumb on your behalf. There we go. Easy peasy banana. So a lot of different mechanics that can go into these kind of levels, which make things a little bit more interesting when you're playing through things, especially speedrunning. If everything was always the same kind of, kind of mechanic, it could get a little bit boring. Okay. Beware of the mines. It's easy. You did it. What other stuff can we talk about? Oh, palettes. We can talk about palettes. As you play the game, you start to unlock a few more things on the game. The palettes that you use for the background is one of them. There are like hundreds of them. And you can even make your own custom palettes. If you're on PC, on consoles you can't do that, but on PC you just need to create a directory and edit the palette file, put the palette there, and it shows up in-game as an option. Here you have to do another of those annoying perp jumps, okay, which is clear. And yeah, the people focus a lot on just doing, new palettes, trying to get people with eye cancer sometimes. A nice corner jump there, saves a little bit of a turn. So there are a lot of good palettes, a lot of horrible palettes, and it depends on your taste. If you like more contrast, less contrast, more colorful, less colorful. Palettes for all sizes and shapes and forms. Well, not forms, literally. You can't really change the form of the ninja. Actually, you can. If you edit the shader files, you can actually make the ninja fatter. And some of the entities as well. You can change that. It doesn't affect the hitbox though, so it's just harder to play if you do that. Close call with a floor guard there. It's another of those levels that it's harder one way than the other way when you're crossing that middle section. This one, Master Exploder, with an embarrassment of switches. Easy. Well done. The level of the names are also quite funny if you pay attention to that. I confess that in my first playthrough I really didn't pay attention to the games that much, but there were a lot of small little jokes on the level names. Abject Terror, I guess they didn't really like lasers, so it's just going down a hill, avoiding the mines. Also the static value of the entity positioning. This one has some secret pro strats that I heard Emma's been working on, so I'm curious to see them. A lot of going up and down that you need to do here. Ooh, nice. Okay, catch that cycle. And now the final drop.
Yes.
Nice, well done. Saved a second and a half there or something. It's the ridiculous thing that you try these extremely pro strats and you get like a few milliseconds, and then there are a few other levels where you just like die like 5 times in a row and completely wastes your advantage. But yeah, it's a long run, so every new strat to shave off a few seconds can help at the end if you practice it long enough. This one, more drone terror for you. Oh, too slow. There we go. I like how they open up for your fall right there. Remember having troubles with the ending in particular of this one. And it does no such thing. The last episode, last 5 levels, this level in particular, bloody nightmare, especially going back down. Even going up is annoying. And even when you clear this first drone section, you have a mini drone section just to mess with you even more. Which is not as hard, but if you invested so much time already, it can be quite annoying if you die. Nice clear there from M. See those vertical jumps. Mini drone section. Nice double jump there to avoid hitting drones, and you seem to be clear. Sometimes you drop into the mine, which is bad. This one also quite annoying. A lot of burp jumps that you need to do, especially that final one. I lost a lot of times in that final burp jump. Whoop. Pretty good. This one has a shortcut, which M will explore or exploit. Catch those switches, get those other 2 switches. Fall down, hope you don't die. Mini drone tower section. Up. Don't really need to go to that mid section, only if you want to all gold. So I'm just gonna avoid it. Save ourselves a few seconds. Should be done. Okay. Oof, this one. Horseshoe lock. Quite annoying mechanic. Need to be fast, but then slow down really fast. Especially on these later ones, they start having mines there just to annoy you. So you have to be extra careful. Okay, well done. And the last level of the whole thing. Some people, when they arrive here, they are very low on time because they've been slow. Luckily, M has been fast, so she has a lot of time. Doesn't have to worry about it. Just has to worry about not overstepping the switch and not getting dosed and not getting rocketed. So it's easy level. You only have 2 rockets on you and a laser and need to be really slow on that trip mine. It's easy. M has done it tons of times. Interesting mechanic here, forcing you to go back down just to annoy you a little bit more. Okay. And we're done. Well done. So how much was it? We had some issues with the timer earlier on, so
I didn't stop timer, but it said 37:27, assuming that I had it adjusted correctly.
That's a really good run.
Again, I could have timed it incorrectly, but that is approximately what I got.
Well, for no reset, anything that's under 38 would be really good, I'd say.
yeah, your average is around 38 when you're doing practice runs, right, Em?
Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty good job. Not close enough to your PB, but you're getting there. There's soon gonna be a world record again and beat Sim. That was a joke. You're supposed to laugh now.
Yeah, it's nowhere near world record.
Sim is just an insane player, and he currently has the world record on this row. It's just crazy good, like doing super fast, high-scoring techniques and stuff like that. Anyways, I guess that's all we have for you on N++ Hero. Em, do you want anything else you have to add?
Thank you for having me. been great.
Okay. Artemis, over to you.
We will be taking our intermission right now. Shouldn't be too long, hopefully like 10 to 15 minutes, but be back for